Chapter 1. The Encounter between Shankar Bhatt and Vyāghreswara Sharma. My salutations to Sri Mahaganpati, Sri Mahasaraswati, lineage of my preceptors, Sri Krishna Bhagwan, and all gods and goddesses. I propose to describe the glory of Sripada Srivallabha, the latest manifestation of Lord Datta. He is the Lord of innumerable universes. Sri Dattatreya is the oldest and the eternal one. Sri Dattatreya has incarnated in this Kaliyuga as Sripada Srivallabha in the city of Pitikapuram, which is situated in the Godavari region of Andhra Pradesh. It is impossible even for the great scholars to describe the grandeur of his divine play. I am completely ignorant and illiterate. Therefore, I submit in all humility that my attempt to portray his life history is only on account of his will, divine order, and his divine blessings. My name is Shankar Bhatt. I belong to Karnataka Desa. I am from Samartha sect and hail from Bharadwaj Gotra. I went to the holy town of Udupi on pilgrimage to visit Bhagwan Sri Krishna in his temple. There, the infant Krishna, with a beautifully colored peacock feather adorning his head, gave me his darshan. He ordered me to visit goddess Sri Kanyakaparameswari in Kanyakumari. I took holy bath in the confluence of the three oceans there. One Tuesday, I entered the temple to see the goddess. The priest was performing the worship of the deity very sincerely. He took the red colored flowers from my hand and began to worship her. At that time, the mother saw me with her benevolent looks and said, Shankara, I am pleased with the sacred devotion in your heart. Go to Kuruvapuram and take the darshan of Sripada Srivallabha and obtain fulfillment of your birth. By the mere darshan of Sripada Srivallabha, an undefinable experience will occur to your mind, Atma, and all your organs. Thus I received the grace of Mother Goddess and started from that holy place. On my way, I reached a village called Maruthwa Malai, which was at a short distance from Kanyakumari. I learned that while Hanuman was carrying the Sanjeevani mountain from the Himalayas, a small village of it had fallen down here, and therefore this village is called Maruthwa Malai. The hill in the village of Maruthwa Malai is beautiful to behold. There are some caves in it. I learned that the area is a hilly tract inhabited by Siddha Purushas undertaking penance in an invisible form. I was looking into those caves with the hope of seeing any great person. I was hoping to get lucky by seeing one of them. However, a tiger was standing at the entrance of one cave. At the sight of the tiger, trembling and tremor started in all my limbs. Agitated with a great fear, I cried aloud at once, Sripada Srivallabha Datta Prabhu. In despair, the tiger stood still like a domestic animal. An aged sage emerged from the cave. The entire area of Maruthwa Malai reverberated with the name of Sripada Srivallabha all at once. Then the old sage said, My son, you are fulfilled one. Only great siddhas, great yogis, wise men, and Paramahans who dwell in Nirvikalpa Samadhi realized that Lord Datta has incarnated as Sripada Srivallabha in this Kaliyuga. You could come here only because you are lucky. This is a land of spiritual pursuit. It is Siddha Bhumi. Your desire will get satisfied. You will certainly be rewarded with the meeting of Shripad. The tiger at the entrance of the cave is a jnani. I advise you to salute him. Then I saluted that wise person who was in the form of a tiger. Immediately the tiger roared the sound Om. The whole of Maruthwa Malai resounded with that roaring sound. It had also melodiously sung the prayer Sripada Sharanam Prabhate. I was watching this wonderful scene. All the atoms in the form of the tiger disintegrated, and a man with a lustrous celestial body manifested there. That celestial person paid obeisance to the old sage and flew into the sky with his luminous body. The old sage who was before me smiled. He invited me into the cave. I entered the cave silently. A stream of compassion was flowing from the eyes of the aged sage. He created fire by the power of his will. He created sacred materials, some sweets and fruits for offering them as an oblation to the sacred fire. He offered those things into the sacred fire while chanting Vedic hymns. That aged sage observed all religious rituals like yajna and yajna are getting extinct in the world. Man who is benefited from the five elements is forgetting the deity who is the embodiment of the five elements. Yajnas are to be performed for the gratification of the deities. Deities get gratified from the sacrifices. Nature becomes favorable because of their grace. Man cannot survive when any force in the nature turns virulent. Calamities occur if the forces of nature are not appeased. If man departs from the righteous path, dangerous developments are caused by the forces of nature. I perform this sacrifice for the welfare of the world. Yajna or yajna means fusion. Fortunately, you have witnessed this sacrifice. As a result of witnessing this sacrifice, you will get the darshan of Sripada Srivallabha, who is an incarnation of Sri Datta. This is very rare fortune. The merit earned in many births will suddenly fructify and give such unattainable fortune. I saluted that great personage and said, Great, one among Siddhas. I am not a scholar or a yogi. I am not a devotee. I am an ignoramus. Kindly take complete mercy on me and clear some of my doubts. The old hermit agreed to it. Then I prayed, O great Siddha, when I visited Goddess Mother Sri Kanyakaparameswari, she directed me to go to Kuruvapuram for the darshan of Sripada Srivallabha. Here I saw you and the great one in the form of a tiger. Who is that great person in the guise of a tiger? Who really is Sripada Srivallabha? Kindly clarify my doubts and favor me. That aged sage began his narration. My son, in the Godavari region of Andhra Pradesh, there is an ancient village called Atrayapura, which was famous as a land where sage Atri conducted austerities. In that village, a Brahmin was born in the Gotra of Kashyap in an Orthodox family. His parents named him Vyāghreswara Sharma. Even though his father was a great scholar, the son became an incorrigible idiot. In spite of educational training, for a long time he could not even perform the Gayatri Mantra prayer at the prescribed times of the day. He could only utter the Sanskrit words to the effect that it was Vyāghreswara Sharma who was saluting. He became disturbed by the taunting words of others. The ill treatment by his parents had also increased. As a Brahmin priest, he was not called to attend any auspicious functions. He was only asked to accept gift of gingerly seeds or attend death anniversary ceremonies in case of extreme emergencies when no one else was available. These acts are considered very mean and are performed only by the lowest among the Brahmins who have not mastered any education. So, feeling of inferiority complex developed in him. He heard that great ascetics live in the Himalayas and by their grace one can realize the knowledge of self. Once during dawn, he had a dream. In that dream, he saw a celestial body radiating with divine effluence. That body was descending to the earth from the firmament. As soon as his divine feet touched the earth, was filled with heavenly illumination. That divine child approached Vyāghreswara Sharma with slow steps and asserted, "Why fear when I am here? There is a bondage of debt between me and this village. Without the bondage of indebtedness, even a dog cannot come to us. Go to Badrikaranaya in the Himalayan region and you will be blessed with auspiciousness." Saying so, the celestial disappeared. Vyāghreswara Sharma reached Badrikaranaya and he was getting food on the way without much effort. However, a dog was following him from the beginning of the journey. He was wandering along with the dog in the Badrikarnaya. In his wanderings, he took a holy bath in the Urvashi Kunda. The dog also took a holy bath along with him. At that time, a great sage, accompanied by his disciples, came to Urvashi Kunda for religious ablutions. Vyāghreswara prostrated at the feet of the great personage and prayed to accept him as a disciple. The great person kindly consented. The dog disappeared immediately when the Great One accepted Vyāghreswara as his disciple. That great person averred, "Vyāghreswara, the dog which followed you is a personification of the merit earned by you in previous births. Goaded by time, you could come here and you could take bath in Urvashi Kunda. You are attracted towards the land of penance by Navanarayanas. All this is the grace of Sripada Srivallabha." Vyāghreswara Sharma bowed down and asked, "Master, who is Sripada Srivallabha? How did his grace shower on me?" The Siddha replied, at the length of the questions posed to him, "My son, Sripada Srivallabha is Lord Datta himself. In Treta Yuga, Bharadwaj Maharshi conducted a huge sacrifice known as Savitra Kathaka Chayanamu in Pitikapuram. He invited Shiva and Parvati to that function. In Pyamgaya Brahmana text, it was mentioned that many great persons Siddhas and yogis are born in the lineage of Bharadwaja in accordance with the boon granted by Shiva and Parvati to him. Even though they were lost in other parts of the country, Pyam Gaya Brahmanam and Sandra Sindhu Veda were carefully preserved in Shambhala village, the land of incarnation of Kalaki. At the end of Kaliyuga and the beginning of Satyuga, Sripada Srivallabha, an incarnation of Sri Datta, will arrive in Pitikapuram in physical form. Only when the sins committed in many births gets diminished and when good deeds start giving results, devotion of Datta will develop. When devotion to Datta becomes perfect, Sripa Srivallabha will grant the wealth of sight, touch, and speech in any age and at any time. As the meritorious deeds of your past lives are strong, the mercy of Sripa Srivallabha showers on you. I am now leaving for meeting my preceptor Maha Avatar Babaji. I will return after 1 year. Practice Kriya Yoga in the caves reserved for you and attempt for the realization of self-knowledge. Thus instructing the sage left for Dronagiri in the region of Sanjeevani mountain. Vyāghreswara Sharma sat in the cave assigned to him. He could not understand the methods of Kriya Yoga or the preaching of self-knowledge. He was thinking like this. Guruji used to call me lovingly as Vyaghra, his tiger. All my co-disciples are sitting on the skin of a tiger and are meditating. When the skin of a tiger is so sacred and benefits the yogi so much, how much greater the tiger should be? Moreover, Guruji asked me to strive for knowledge of self. Self means myself only. What have I got to do with others? My name is Vyāghreswara Rudu. Therefore, I should be a tiger only. So I have to meditate upon the tiger only. That is my Atma. If I could get the form of a tiger, it amounts to my attaining self-knowledge. 1 year passed easily. The Guru visited the place. He went to each cave and observed the progress made by his disciples in their spiritual quest. He could not find Vyāghreswara in his cave. Instead, a tiger was resting in the cave. Sri Guruji analyzed the matter through his yogic insight. He realized that as Vyāghreswara meditated intensely upon the form of Vyaghra, that is tiger, he got formed into a tiger. Guruji felt happy at the pure heart and cleanliness of the self of his disciple. He blessed him and taught him to utter Om. He asked him to constantly repeat the words Sripadarajam Sharanam Prabhate as a mantra. Vyāghreswara reached near Kuruvapuram in the form of a tiger. To reach Kuruvapuram, one has to cross a river. At that time, Sripada Srivallabha was with the congregation of his devotees. He suddenly announced, "A great devotee of mine is calling me. I will go and immediately return." Saying so, he began walking on the water in his lustrous body. When Sripada Srivallabha was walking on the water in this manner, a lotus flower was emerging from the water at every spot where he was placing his sacred foot. He arrived at the river bank on the other side and saw Vyāghreswara, who was incessantly chanting the mantra Shripad Rajam Sharanam Prabhate. Vyāghreswara paid obeisance to the auspicious divine feet of Sripada Srivallabha. Srivallabha mounted on the tiger and crossed the river floating on the water on the back of the tiger and reached Kuruvapuram. All the people were witnessing this spectacle in the utter astonishment. According to Datta Puran, Sri Dattatreya incarnated as Dharma Sastra. When that lord took birth as the son of Harihara, he arrived at the capital of the kingdom riding on a tiger. Devendra took the form of that tiger and served as a vehicle for Ayyappa Swami or Dharma Sastra. Some people were of the opinion that Sri Vallabh was verily Dharmasastra himself. Goddess Amba rides both on a lion and a tiger also. So some people were of the opinion that Sri Vallabh was an inseparable form of the universal mother goddess. The moment Sri Vallabh dismounted from the tiger after reaching Kuruvapuram, the tiger fell dead. A great person with divine brilliance came out of the body of the tiger. He prayed to Sri Vallabh to use the skin of the tiger form of his previous birth as his seat. Sri Charna consented for that. With overflowing love, Sri Vallabh said, My son Vyāghreswara, in one of your births you were a very strong wrestler. During that life you were indulging in all sorts of cruel acts. Those activities include fighting with tigers, injuring them, capturing them, famishing them, and arranging their exhibitions for the recreation of people. On account of the past sinful acts, you are to take animal births in many lives. But with my grace, all that accumulated sin is cancelled in this life of a tiger. As you remain in the form of a tiger for a long time, you can assume that form at will at any time. I am granting you this boon. You will meet and obtain the blessings of many Siddhas who are carrying out penance in the Himalayas from hundreds of years. May you rise to great heights in the path of yoga. Shripad blessed Vyāghreswara in the above manner. What Shankar Bhatt saw previously was actually the same Vyāghreswara Sharma as a tiger. He lives in the Himalayas. Great sages are averse to public contact. This man stands as a sentinel for such yogis and guards against disturbance from common folk. Great hermits have a system of transmitting ideas and news amongst themselves. They need not come out of their places or employ messengers for that purpose. However, for the sake of sport, they employ Vyāghreswara to exchange news. This is all the divine play of Lord Sri Datta. My dear Shankar Bhatt, before the creation, there was the first couple. When a wife becomes pregnant, she will have some desires. It is the duty of the husband to fulfill her desires. When Sharvani became pregnant, Parameshwara asked her if she had any desire. Then Sharvani said, Lord, I experienced all pleasure having the body of a female. I do not know how the experience would be when having a male body. Hence, please oblige me. Parameshwara said, Let it be so. Immediately, Sharvani took the form of a male. That was the form of Mahavishnu. There was no way for the baby inside her to come out. Then a lotus sprouted from the umbilicus of Mahavishnu. From that lotus, Brahma was born and started creation. Sri Mahavishnu created the form of Sharvani again from his body. The secrets of gods and their place are unthinkable. In this way, Sri Mahavishnu and Parvati became brother and sister. On the full moon day in the month of Shravana, Parvati Devi tied Rakhi to Sri Mahavishnu and said, Brother, Sri Bhola Shankar grants boons to everyone without thinking about propriety and feasibility. Every such time you are manifesting in avatars with your Vishnu Maya to kill demons, thus saving my Mangalam. Brother, let this practice of tying Rakhi remain forever as a symbol of love between brother and sister. Sri Mahavishnu said, Tathastu. In accordance with this pledge only, when there was trouble from Bhasmasura, Sri Vishnu took the form of Mohini and annihilated him. Vishnu Maya is unthinkable. It is difficult to guess that it would be like this or that. Dharmasastra was born to Mohini and Shankara. After Dharmasastra was born, Mohini disappeared. Dharmasastra later took the avatar of Ayyappa Swami in Kaliyuga. There is a divine secret in this. Dharmasastra is none other than Sri Mahavishnu. In that form, Brahma and Rudra are also merged with Sri Mahavishnu. So we can say that it is the Lord Dattatreya with those three forms merging. When Parmeshwari manifested as the daughter of Pandya Bhupala with the name of Meenakshi, Parameshwar manifested himself as Sundareshwar. Sri Mahavishnu performed the marriage of Meenakshi and Sundareshwar. But when Parameshwari manifested herself as Sri Kanyakaparameswari, the marriage did not take place. But the Sripada Srivallabha manifestation is beyond place and time. Srivallabha manifested himself in Pitikapuram in Kaliyuga. But that same form of Srivallabha was there from the very beginning of creation in divine luminous worlds. The divine place of Sripad for 30 years from 1320 AD when he was born in Pitikapuram till 1350 AD when he disappeared in Kuruvapuram cannot be comprehended even by the seven rishis. How can we understand? I questioned. Swami, we are now in 1336 AD. Will that mean that Sri Vallabh will remain on earth for the next 14 years only? Will he end his avatar so early? Sadguru Dev said, My dear, if Sri Vallabh is born, then there will be retreat. However, his play has no birth or death. He is not affected by time and place. Sri Kanyakapurana. King Agrasen, who was contemporary of Sri Krishna, was ruling a kingdom in Aryavartam. He was a Vaishya. Some of the descendants of that king used to do business in the south. Some were staying with the families of king's relatives in Brihat Sila Nagaram in the Andhra region. One relative of King Agrasena by name Kusuma Shrestri was ruling that region in accordance with Dharma with Brihat Sila Nagaram as his capital. The Kusuma Shrestri couple were righteous people with good conduct. They were doing many good deeds with yajnas and yagyas. Bhaskaracharya was the guru of the king and very close to Kusuma Shrestri. Jagannatha took birth in their house as Sri Kanyakaparameswari. Sripada Srivallabha made a part of him be born in their house. He was named Virupaksha. In the past, Ravana pleased Kailasvasa to obtain the Atmalingam. Ravana then asked for a mean boon. Per the boon, Jagannatha accompanied him in Bhadrakali form. The Atmalingam fell on the ground at Gokarna Kshetram and got established there. My dear, the glory of Gokarna Kshetram is great. There is a divine secret relationship among Vaishya caste. Gokarnas and Gokarna Kshetram, even though Ravana was killed, one part of him took birth in Kaliyuga as a king who was blinded by lust. Amba expressed her Bhadrakali form in another way in Kaliyuga. Along with her, some relatives of the king's family offered themselves to the Agni and expressed their self-respect according to the tradition of the kingdom of Aryavarta. Thus, Sri Kanyakaparameswari reached her Lord Nagreshwar. Before Amba was born, Kusuma Shreshti couple did many sacrifices. Kusuma Shreshti used to take milk and gold from only one family of their relatives. They had the house named Peinda. When you go to Pitikapuram, you will meet a Mahatma, a descendant from that family. Now you go to Kuruvapuram and have darshan of Srivallabha. Thus saying, the great Siddha gave his blessings to Shankar Bhatt and then disappeared with a luminous body. Victory unto Sri Sripada Srivallabha, Sripada